I got a little crystal ball here. Or maybe this is the crystal ball here. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now, just know that you are locked on to the point with the king. You guys know what to do. Find us Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X. Yeah, I got a bunch of those. I think on TikTok. Thanks, Arturus. More importantly, you guys here on YouTube, go ahead, click subscribe, click like. By the way, thank you guys for getting us past 800 subs. We very much appreciate that, and thank you guys for enjoying yours truly for 79 of the 82 Raptors games this season. Believe me, I feel like I just played a season. But more important, thank you for enjoying our fantastic guests, some of the best basketball minds that you are not aware of because they're not on national TV. My man right there, all the way from the East Coast to your home, the one and only Coach. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. It's playoff basketball time. Had some good games last night. Watching Portland and Phoenix, along with Miami and Charlotte. Really good games. Really great to start the playoffs this way.
Okay, so you didn't get an ankle injury? Anyway,
No. Man did.
Okay. Anyway, Coach, I asked you here for a reason, right? I know you're a busy man. You do God's work, and you're doing something absolutely amazing in your personal life. So, guys, enjoy the time with the coach, okay? So, Coach, we were here over 5 months ago at the beginning of the season, and we decided to do an episode of the season preview. That's why we're going to do a season review. And, guys, in case you didn't catch my joke, the reason why I brought up Crystal Ball was because Coach and I were right on a lot of things for your Toronto Raptors. Now, I'm going to own this. So, Art, can you put up that clip? I see the Raptors hitting probably about 44 wins this season, right?
Sure.
Since it is tight. I see the potential there because the Eastern Conference, the landscape has totally shifted. Like 2 years ago, what would we be talking about? Orlando, New York, Indiana, Atlanta, up there? No, we'd be talking about Philly, Boston, Milwaukee. That's who we'd be talking about, right? So the landscape has kind of shifted. I don't know if it's an avalanche or something, right? I don't know if it was something like that. Okay, but the Raptors are somewhere in the middle, and I see they can progress. I don't really see them regressing from last year based on what they have available on the court. I really don't see that. And if somebody disagrees with me, fight me. Yeah, I said it. Minimum 44 wins for the Raptors. The Raps got 46. I didn't get to say it on the show, but I said the Raps will end up in anywhere between 4th and 6th. Hey, they're at 5. Hey.
5. Right in the middle.
What's that, Coach?
Right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle. Stuck in the middle with you. Anyway, but Coach did say a lot of things about certain players on this team and how they will progress. Now, Coach did also say it depends on a lot of other things. Now, Coach, give me an overall before we dive deep into it. What is your overall review on the Raptors this season, and if you could give them a grade?
I would give the team grade. I'll give them a B+. There were some really good parts about the year where the team clearly is much better than it was last year.
Okay.
There were some parts, though, during the year where it did not look good. Losing to Sacramento recently, losing to the Pelicans. I think the Raptors, though, for the most part, they won the games that they had to win this year. And they had the big 9-game winning streak earlier on in the year. I think since the end of November, they were about a 500 ball club. But they had that big 9-game winning streak which really helped propel them up in the Eastern Conference. So that winning streak earlier on back in November was huge for the success of this team, especially being a top 16 going to the playoffs. On your show, or I think, if I remember this correctly, people might have to go back and check. I had a minimum goal to make the play-in tournament. Minimum goal. Like, you don't go get Brandon. Yeah, you have to do that. You don't go get Brandon Ingram to finish 12th. You have to at least make the play-in.
Those were your words.
Yeah. So, and we finished top 5. That's an accomplishment, no doubt, no question. And kudos to the players and the coaching staff for that.
Now, Coach, you did also, speaking of, you just said Brandon Ingram. You don't go get a player like Brandon Ingram and expect to be in the play-in. That's not what he's here for. And your inhibition towards that, what you said was, you did call 38 wins, 38 to 42, you said.
Yep.
But the main reason for you saying that was because you weren't confident in Brandon Ingram's health based on his track record. But
correct.
Are you surprised with Brandon Ingram this season with not being injured that much? And please go into whatever else you got to say about Brandon.
I am. I'm perfectly shocked by that, and I think Alex McKechnie needs a promotion, man. And that guy, he took Kawhi Leonard a while back, and he made Kawhi Leonard healthy for most of the year. He had the task this year of taking Brandon Ingram and making him healthy. Brandon Ingram, I think, played 75 plus games. Who had that on their bingo card? Nobody probably had that on their bingo card. So
62.
One of the reasons why I picked 38 to 42, like you said, is I didn't expect him to play 60 games. I thought maybe 50 to 55, and you take it, I suppose. But he played 75 plus games, and you got 46 wins. And you finally had a guy who can really go out and get his own shot, his own bucket. That was a big help this year to the success of this team.
Yeah, and he did say prior to coming to Toronto, well, he said it recently that prior to coming to Toronto, he saw what this team could do, and he thought he could fit in very well, right? Yep. And especially taking the load off of the last 2 seasons that we've seen, the load being on scottiebarnes to pretty much do, okay, we're this far on the YouTube, every fucking thing, right? From top to bottom. I'm surprised he wasn't selling popcorn in the stands, okay? The Raptors needed him to do everything. And it really took the load off of Scottie. And as a coach, the focal point for any other team with their scouting report, they were going to look at Scottie. This was Raptors fans' frustrations, casual Raptors fans' frustrations, but they didn't realize that the focal point was on Scottie. Now the focal point can be split between Scottie and BI. So, but Scottie it's opened up his game as a really good defensive player, and I'm going to go outside right now after this with a picket sign saying Scottie for DPOY. How do you think Scottie's development has been this season, including with like BI, RJ, IQ, the other players that have stepped up? How do you think about Scottie specifically now being able to open up as a player, not having to do everything?
Well, certainly that was big for the success of this team, because you can't have one guy and rely on him to do everything. Scottie really took on the defensive assignments this year, whether he was guarding Paolo Banchero or Evan Mobley earlier, which we're going to see him guard likely Evan Mobley again come this weekend. Scottie is going to be an all-defensive player, probably first team all-defense. Is he going to win Defensive Player of the Year? I don't know about that, but I think he's going to be on the first team. The one thing that separates Scottie from the rest, though, is Scottie's probably the shortest one on there compared to Pet's going to be on there. Wemby's going to be on there. You might have Gobert's always on there. So kudos to Scottie this year for, sometimes he was point of attack defender. Sometimes he was rim protector. I still think he's the best at help defense, the best roamer on the team. I don't want him playing point of attack defense. I just find he'll wear down that way. But I just love when he's playing help defender, can come over and protect the rim, because he clearly was all that this year. he led the team in blocks, I think, with a block and a half per game.
Yep.
At 6'8", it's pretty good.
Over 100 blocks a season.
He led the team in steals.
Yep.
I think he had the most stocks in the NBA, or he was top 3, something like that.
Yep.
And it just goes to show him really taking on that defensive assignment, but also what abilities that he has. Because you could put him in switches, you could trust him 1 through 5. Because he's got the strength and athleticism to do so. So I was really impressed with his defense this year. 100%.
And also his offense with assists. I saw a stat today. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but he's the only player ever in the league to get average minimum 18 points, get over 100 blocks, get over 100 steals, 100 assists, get over 50 steals, right, while shooting 50%.
Yeah, that's very impressive. I think over the last couple of years, we're starting to figure out what he is more of, what he's not. Like, I don't know if Scottie's going to be someone, okay, he's going to average 25 plus for his career. I don't think he's going to be that. I think he's going to hover between 18 and 22 points.
Exactly.
7-8 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists.
And
pretty
1 block
decent.
A game.
Yeah, decent efficiencies, I think. So I think we're starting to figure out more of what he is. He's like this kind of jack of all trades player. He can do a little bit of everything, but he's really starting to master, I think, on the defensive end.
Yeah, he's like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, reads are good, rotating, blocking shots, rim protecting. So he's doing very, very well at that this year. His defensive progression, he's always been super talented defensively, but you're starting to see it this year.
You said also in our season preview, you were a proponent and a protagonist of CMB stepping up this season. I don't think anybody saw that coming for him, except for you. You were the only person I heard. I don't
know about. Well, there were some people out there that was more for CMB than I was at draft time. What I did say, if I remember correctly, is that this guy has a chance to be top 1 or 2 best defensive player on the team out the gate, year 1. His ability to move on defense, move his feet, he's physical. He's got great reach. He's a decent rim protector himself at 6'6". Like, he's smaller than Scottie. Small. He's able to do a lot of things that Scottie can do, quite honestly. So CMB this year, I think I saw the statistic where when he starts in the starting lineup with Scottie, with Ingram and RJ and quickly, that they're a top 3 or 4 defense, like that 5 in the league. That's when he starts with them. The Raptors are going to have to think about that some moving down in this playoff series.
And thinking forward next year, the season after. Because let's face it, guys, the Raps, they might win the first round, but come on. They're not winning the Larry O'Brien.
Well, God bless Pirtle, but he can't get out on the perimeter like CMB can. And, I'll eat a bit of the poop sandwich on CMB because I was a little hard when they selected him. But I did see the defense coming. I did see enough of South Carolina to say, yeah. And I talked to enough scouts in the U.S. to say, this guy, his offense needs work, which it does, clearly. But defensively, you're going to get one of the top defensive players in this draft. And clearly, he's been that. No question.
No doubt. The other person you did talk about on the season preview that I want to get it back to is Sandro I can't pronounce his name. It's been 79
Mamukelashvili.
Mamukelashvili. Okay.
Yep.
But you did talk about him. And you did say that you see some promise with him. And honestly, I believe he's shown it. He has for the most part this year. What are your thoughts? Own this one, man, because you said it. We're owning this episode with all the good shit that we said.
When he was signed, I probably said that he was the best free agent signing per his value of what you signed him for. He's on a minimum contract. Mm-hmm. And I think he's been a pretty good fit next to Scottie. We finally had a big who could shoot next to him.
Yep.
And him being able to come in off the bench and provide instant offense this year. I mean, he shot 39% from 3. When's the last time we've had a big do that? It's probably been a little while since we've had a big guy do that. But he also showed flashes of being able to take guys off the dribble this year. I had no idea that the handle that he had was okay, or the burst that he has off his first step. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't
and he's
know if I
just
see
been
him as
running to the line, just barreling to the rim.
yeah, no, I don't know if he's a center. I think he's more of a forward, like a power forward, but they
Yeah.
play him at center because they got no choice. But one thing that I like this year is him and CMB off the bench with their minutes together because their
Oh,
games are different. They're opposites. I always find if you have one guy who's really defensive and can't shoot, but you have another guy who's super offensive skills, I think that works well. It's like Brook Lopez and Giannis. Brook could shoot, and Giannis could do everything else, and Brook could protect the rim.
yeah.
Obviously, this I'm not comparing these two to them,
It's not the same
but
because they're not in the playoffs.
I think yeah, like honestly, I actually like the fit of Mamu and CMB versus Scottie and Pirtle. I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of that fit because I just don't know if that fit of Scottie and Pirtle is going to get you to conference final someday. Like those a center and a power forward, which happens to be our franchise player. You've got to make that work offensively.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's gonna work moving forward, but I guess we'll see.
Now I gotta ask you about another player that stepped up his game. Uh, as the Americans call him, Jamal Shead. Jamal Shead.
That's what I called him first when I first saw him drafted. I thought it was Shead. And I was corrected by a guy in Houston.
Yeah, but you're an East Coaster, so you say bye. Anyway, right? But he has stepped up this season, and he's really taken the helm, especially with the especially when IQ's been injured, right? And him coming up as the backup point guard, it's like I see almost no difference in their style of play when he comes in, and I've noticed he's taken more control of calling the plays, right? Like Scottie will say something in his ear during the inbound, and then as he's coming up the court, this is just I'm watching the game live, and he's just like calling it, slowing down the ball, right? Pointing, saying, "Come here for the pick. You know, you move here." He's calling it, and I'm actually very impressed with him this year. What are your thoughts on Jamal Shead over this past season?
Defensively, I love him. I love his effort. He really gets into guys when he's guarding them one on one. He's able to move his feet. He's kind of mastered getting clipped on screens. Go back and watch every game this year, and he's basically get called for offensive foul like the other team. So they'll send an illegal screen on him,
And he'll drop.
because he's barreling into them, and he drops and he sells it. Lowry did that pretty well. So I was really impressed with his defense. Now, offensively, he shot 32% from three and 36% from the field. He got to work on that in the offseason. He's got to get better offensively.
Yeah.
But the things that Jamal Shead came into the NBA to be known for, his defense, his leadership, his intensity, like he's brought that. There's no question.
Another player we did speak about in the previews was wearing my number 14, Jacoby Walter. I honestly think his progression this season has been fantastic, right? I think it's been above what we expected. Him joining the starting lineup multiple times, right? His key three-pointers, especially coming up big during the games, and he's like fighting for every loose ball. Like this guy's like diving. And if you guys have watched the live streams with me, unfortunately they're not giving it to him because he's getting called for bullshit fouls where somebody just runs into him and then they're calling the foul on him. I think it's an injustice there, but I've been watching him fight. I like his tenacity, right? I just like his intensity. Him bringing every time there's a loose ball, his hand is out. And he's diving on the floor, grabbing it, causing multiple jump balls, right? Getting that for the Raptors and the multiple threes. What are your thoughts on him, Coach? Because you didn't seem too highly of him in the preview.
Which is interesting because I like Jacoby. I don't know, maybe I'd have to go back and see. But there's an old saying, work smarter, not harder.
There we go.
Jacoby did that and Grady did not this offseason. So what I mean by that is Jacoby Walter figured out I need to become a stationary three-point shooter. I need it because we don't have one really on this team. No one who's going to be able to come in off the bench and just shoot threes in the corner. He figured it out early, and that's how he's getting his minutes now. So he's shooting 41% from three.
Yeah.
We are like bottom 20s in 3-point percentage.
I believe it's 24th.
We need Jacoby. Yeah, we need Jacoby to make threes and shoot threes. We don't fire up a bunch of threes. We have a lot of guys who take mid-range shots. Ingram takes a bunch. Scottie takes a bunch. RJ gets a lot in the paint. Hurdle doesn't step outside of 5 feet. You need someone like Jacoby to come in and spread the floor. If you don't have that, you're in trouble. And I had a conversation with someone. I think I actually was on the William Lou show. Hello and welcome. In their little chat box, I said, quickly, Jacoby and Mamu are instrumental in this series against Cleveland because those are guys who can shoot the basketball, and you need those guys to be able to spread the floor for Scottie. And Jacoby figured it out. Brady, for a variety of reasons, never got that opportunity, but didn't quite get there to be a stationary 3-point shooter. Jacoby did, and Jacoby's getting minutes.
There we go, Coach. So I got to ask you, coach to coach, every stream I've done, the guys out there, they can attest to this in the chat. The problem was the beginning of the season and maybe halfway through the season and a little bit near the end, the Raps were hoisting up too many threes in the first half, which would put them in a position, and they're missing, which would put them in a position where in the fourth quarter, because they're down, they have no choice but to shoot the threes, but you're already cold, and you know this just as well as I do, Coach. You take those easy buckets, beginning of the game, it opens up your game. Then you can open up the threes, and then it makes the inside a lot more easier, right? And that's just been a complaint of mine. If the Raps come out to a flying start at the beginning of the game, attacking, mid-range, right at the rim, it's opened up their threes. I've noticed that pattern, right? But once they just start chucking up threes for no goddamn reason, now you're down 12-0 to start the game, right? And then it's not easy. It's possible, but it's not easy to come back from that, right? And then by the time you get yourself in the fourth quarter and you're down by like 15, right, with a couple minutes left, after chucking up a bunch of threes, now you have no choice but then you're cold. So it's kind of hopeless. What do you think about that? Because you just talked about the threes and Jacoby being the guy to hit the threes and Mamu also hitting the threes. By the way, I don't like when Mamu attempts 2 3-pointers in 2 straight possessions because he always misses the second one. I've been watching that. I've been taking tabs on that one. What do you think about the Raptors 3-point position? Like, other than Jacoby and Mamu, like, do you think before BI went on his tear near the end of the season, he was chucking up threes for no reason, right? Do you think they need to slow that down or work on that this offseason?
Oh, they'll work on it. I just think that's where the NBA is. Everyone just shoots threes now today. You and I grew up during a time and probably played during a time where the 3-point shot, it was there, but it wasn't like it is today. And this is why someone like Steph Curry's revolutionized basketball. You go to any high school game, college game, NBA game, everybody's firing up threes. The game used to be played, as you just said earlier, inside out.
Yeah.
Those days are gone. It's outside in now, pretty much. It's very perimeter oriented. So the Raptors have to work on threes, but it's a little bit of roster construction too. You got a lot of guys who operate in the mid range and the high post. Scottie operates kind of in the high post. Ingram mid range. RJ, he's either shooting the 3 or he's at the rim. There is no mid range, but he still likes to operate in the paint. And then you got Pirtle in the paint as well. I heard a complaint once that a lot of guys, sometimes when Pirtle's on the floor, they don't like it because he clogs up the middle and you can't drive. I heard that one time, and it kind of makes sense a little bit. But some of this is just down to roster construction too. And I think they won't have a choice but not to address that. I don't know how you're going to be able to compete long term with a Boston who chucks up a million threes a game and makes them,
Yeah.
or a team like the Knicks who they chuck up a million threes, or Detroit. Cleveland's going to be another team, with Donovan Mitchell and Harden. Mobley
Yep.
can shoot the three. It's just kind of the way the NBA is gone in the last couple of years. So someone like Jacoby and his skill set, just standing in the corner and shooting threes, is something that this team needs. It's almost like a Danny Green role that you're going to have to make for Jacoby Walter.
Thank you for your input, Coach. This season was fun. Very happy to see how far they've come. Bars. Let's see what they could do in the playoffs. By the way, guys, tune in, be on the locker room. We're going to be doing a playoff preview for your Toronto Raptors. Coach, was there anything else you would like to say before we get out of here? Guys, Coach is a busy man. Okay? He's got things to do. Okay? So let's not bother him.
That's okay. It's all right.
Coach, floor is yours. Whatever you want to say. You could even tell me what you had for lunch. Doesn't matter.
The floor is mine. So, good season overall. They won more games than I expected. There's still some things I think they need to work on and maybe address in the offseason. But I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on the playoffs. I'm going to enjoy this. Every American analyst has us losing. Not one American analyst picked us to win the series. Big shocker, whatever.
Wow. Oh, my God.
So, yeah, I'm saying you're playing with house money. Everybody is against you. Why not just go out with no pressure and just run it down their throats? You're a high-tempo, high-octane team. They like to slow it down. Typically in the playoffs, it does get more physical and it slows down. But if I'm the Toronto Raptors right now, Cleveland has a lot more to lose than Toronto does. Because Cleveland, they're I think they're in the second luxury tax right now, too. Like, they're all in on 37-year-old James Harden. They're all in on Mitchell and Mobley, which they should be. And then there's Toronto, maybe up and coming. They're a little expensive, but they're not expensive as Cleveland. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, Cleveland has a lot more on the line than Toronto does. So use that to your advantage. And know when everybody's against you, anything you do is a positive. That's the way I kind of look at it.
Yep. None of the American analysts have even picked the Raptors to get to the 5th spot.
Everyone has this game series. Cleveland in 7 or Cleveland in 6. But you know what? House money.
Exactly, buddy. Exactly. So, Coach, unfortunately, guys, Coach is busy. He won't be here for the playoff preview unless you could swing something, bud.
Probably not.
I know, probably not. But we'll be here for you.
Yes.
You guys, I hope you guys enjoy the Raptor season. You fair weather. Coach, I haven't gone on a rant today at all. I think I'm going to do one before we get out.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. A big fuck you to all the fair weather Raptors fans that had no faith after every loss saying, oh, fire Darko, trade Scottie, B.I.'s a bust. Oh, Yak can't do shit. Oh, Mamu's nothing. Oh, RJ, what about him? Oh, Grady's a piece of shit. Oh, great. Okay, Grady did go down this year. But, oh, no, fuck these Raptors. After every loss, and then after every win, crickets. Right? But even though a lot of fair weather fans are saying that, the hardcore fans, right, the people that actually know basketball like myself, Coach, and all you guys in my chat, right, all you guys that know it, we knew it's a process. It's progression, not perfection. And we should be happy and enjoy where the Toronto Raptors are at currently. Even if they lose in the playoffs, which they will at some point, right? Enjoy what happened, ride the tide, be happy for next year. And you know what? Next year, Coach and I will be doing another preview, right? And we'll be calling it, we were right this year. And you know what? We're going to fucking own that. Anyway, Coach, thank you for joining us, spending your time with us. Much appreciated. So on behalf of myself, Coach, you guys out there, Arturus, my man, And anybody out there that's in the chat, watching the streams, live game with me, thank you. Much appreciated. So, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and peace.